Hello everyone, and welcome to Montgomery's Kitchen. I'm the chef and host, James Montgomery Anderson. With St. Patrick's Day being this past week, I wanted to make the traditional corned beef and cabbage for the holiday. To up the difficulty, I wanted to do it from scratch, and spoiler alert, it turned out great. With some Irish luck, you can make it at your home with a little planning, and bring in the holiday right. So, without further ado, let's get to work. The beef brisket is where we'll start. This is half of a full brisket. It holds two pieces that we're after, the point and the flat. So we'll need to divide the two parts by following the seam of fat that's in the middle. It takes a little practice to fillet the beef out perfectly, but luckily for you, most butcher shops will have beef brisket trimmed and ready for the corn and brine. But in the unfortunate event they don't, this is how you would trim a brisket. After I find and orient the two pieces of meat I'm trying to separate, I'm just going to start making shallow cuts and try and pull the meat away from itself, We're going to trim a lot of this fat off of it. This is why a brisket's ideal for smoking, because it has so much fat it won't dry out. So you typically would leave them whole. But for brining purposes, we're going to trim off all this fat and clean it up. Just about finished with the flat piece here. I'm just trimming off the major pieces of fat. Now we're gonna start working back on our tip, the point. We're gonna keep making our shallow cuts and trying to trim off the excess fat and clean it up a little bit. This has a little bit of freezer like discoloration, but looks good enough. Let's get to work on our brine. So in our trusty stock pot, we're gonna add 2 gallons of water. We're gonna put this on a low heat. You kind of want it to simmer. You just want it enough so all our seasonings and spices blend together. We're gonna add 2 cups of salt, a full cup of packed brown sugar, and then up next, we're gonna add a cup of pickling spice and 2 tablespoons of pink tinted curing salt. You can get this all here at Bell's. And then we're gonna add, I think that's 8 cloves of finely chopped garlic. Give that a nice stir. We're gonna kind of do that occasionally just so we can get all our salts and sugars to blend together nicely. And after a few minutes, everything's looking pretty good. So we're gonna kill the heat. We're gonna take this and set it somewhere so it can cool down. We want it to like room temperature. You can even set it in the fridge if you have room. Now that our brine's cooled down and we have 2 nicely trimmed briskets, we're gonna put this in one big ass tote. If you don't have access to a big ass tote, you can always use the bag method, and it's putting a bag inside a bag and then putting your brisket in that and then pouring your corning brine over top. Luckily for me, got the big ass tote, so I'm just gonna submerge both these briskets in our corning brine. And throughout the week, you're going to want to keep flipping them so they get evenly brined if they're not submerged. There should be enough brine in this 2 gallons, though, to do it. But still, you want to get those pickling spices and all the salts to work their magic, so moving them constantly doesn't hurt. Now the time has come, a week is up. We need some cabbage, and we need some carrots, and we need 1 onion. I think it might be a sin, but I forgot potatoes. Yeah, major oversight. Anyhow, we're gonna throw our carrots in a crock pot, and then we're gonna clean up our cabbage a little bit. I've already cored these. I'm gonna take out some of the outer layers that, just don't look very nice. Might have some spots on them and everything like that. But once you get your cabbage all cleaned up, time to do some slicing. We're just gonna slice the whole way across this, and trust me, half a cabbage is all you're gonna need. These things, they have way more than you think that's even there. But once you get that all cleaned up in your crock pot, time to chop some onions as well. Get these all chopped up real nice, and I like to leave these kind of long, so you're cutting with the veins and just leaving it so it's in petals so it'll hold together. Alright, we got all our veggies together. Now it's time for the piece de la resistance, the corned beef. After sitting in its brine for a week, let's check it out. Oh yeah, brine to perfection. It's cured the whole way through. This stuff is gonna be Bang. That just looks beautiful. I mean, look at it. Oh. Alright, enough of that. Now that it's cut up, time to throw it in with our veggies. And, trying to find some space in here is kind of tough, so we're going to break up some of this cabbage so it all blends together and cooks nice and evenly. There isn't anything that doesn't get overlooked, So we're just going to kind of fold in our brisket with our vegetables as we go. Now that we got our crock pot filled to the brim, not even sure I can get a lid on this. We're missing something. Beer. Yep, we're gonna add half, maybe 3/4 of a straw lager. Any light beer will do. I really wish I had some Guinness for this. And yeah, you gotta save a little bit for the butcher. Alright, and some finishing touches. We're just gonna add a little bit extra pickling spice to go over top of this. You don't have to if you don't like to, but I think it adds a really good flavor. Now we're going to throw it in our crock pot and put that sucker on low, and just like that, instant corned beef. Yeah, in 8 short hours, easiest meal of your life. Just set it and forget it. Now, all that's left to do is get this to a plate. So there you have it, the corned beef. It's an excellent Irish treat for today, of all days, St. Patrick's Day. So I hope you had some for your St. Patrick's Day, and if not, next year you can make your very own. Just about a week's worth of time and a little planning. Make this gorgeous corned beef. I mean, it turned out excellent. Look, bright red, nicely cured and corned. Doesn't get any better. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And that'll get you entered to our giveaway. When I hit 100 subscribers, I'm going to give away a t-shirt, shopping bag. Maybe I'll even throw a hat into it too. But you gotta share, like, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and until next week, bon appetit.